Hello, Namaskar. You're watching BTTV. This is Market Today. I'm Tanya Aneja and with me Shail Bhatnagar, our markets editor. Well, it's Diwali week and Indian markets are likely to continue the upward momentum. But where are the pockets of opportunities and what should be your strategy? We'll discuss this and much more. But first up, the top headlines for you. Indian markets are likely to continue their upward climb on Monday as strong overseas cues drive sentiment in a week full of festivities and rising demand in the domestic economy. Traders are likely to remain glued to high beta sectors such as PSUs, banking, and the fertilizer space as they punt on beaten down valuations coupled with heavy demand for quality shares. Very good morning, Shell. It's Diwali week finally, and there's this sense of hope, joy, and optimism. And Indian equity markets, if you see, that ended with decent gains last week. In fact, broader index that to outperform the benchmarks, mid cap and small cap indices both were up 2%. And within sectors, real estate and media, they were the top performers, and auto settled in the red. This week, we have some key events like IIP quarterly earnings and the balance of trade data in the US. And today, GIFT Nifty indicates a positive start for the Indian markets. So I want to understand from you now that what should be the strategy and where do you see Nifty going forward? Shell, can you hear me? Okay, I think there's some technical glitch, but we'll fix that and we'll get him back on the show. But meanwhile, let's take a look and see where are the markets headed going forward and the market snapshot for you from the last week. So if you see the Nifty ended 0.5% higher at 19,230 odd level on Friday. And Sensex, that ended 0.4% higher at 64,363 odd level. Nifty Bank, that was also, that performed really well on Friday as well. And ended at 43,318 odd level, 0.7% uptick there as well. And let's pull up some of the gainers and the losers from Friday's trading session for you. And we have seen the real estate pack and the media pack that performed really well. And on Friday, if you see the top gainers, Apollo Hospitals. And okay, I think we have Shail with us now. Coming to you, Shail, I was saying that this week is very important as we have, some of the key events like IIP quarterly earnings and the balance of trade data in the US. And GIFT Nifty, if you see today, that indicates a positive opening for the Indian markets. So what should be the strategy and where do you see Nifty going forward?
So, Tanya, I think it's going to be a buy on dip kind of a environment again, and the overall sentiment on Dalal Street as also across Asia is pretty robust, and this brings good news for local bulls on the domestic bourses, mainly on account of how the US non-farm payroll data has come up. It's below expectations. That means that whatever fears were there about interest rates getting stronger and higher from these odds, they seem to have receded further, at least temporarily. Therefore, you see the US 10-year bond yield down for the fourth day in a row. You see crude oil muted, you see gold muted, and all these are positive signs for the markets on the equity side globally as well as on the large street. So a lot of traction on the long side expected, and also we are in the final week of Diwali. On Sunday you have the festival, therefore a lot of good cheer, a lot of enthusiasm in the broader economy, and some of it is seen to come into the domestic equity market. So therefore, PSU banks will be in focus, fertilizer stocks will be in focus, metal and defense counters will show some kind of shine. And the two great sentiments that are going to impact the Nifty is, of course, the very, very strong earnings of State Bank of India that were released during the weekend. So 8% year-on-year rise in second quarter net profit to about 14,330 crore rupees. The net interest income is up 12% to about 39,500, and there is an how should I say, improvement in GPNA as well as on net non-productive assets. So all the good goings that could be possible for the Nifty and the Bank Nifty seem to be working pretty well. For now, you'll see a very, very sharp short bout of short covering that happened on Friday on a lot of calls between 18,850 and 19,150, and a new support level is emerging on options chain for 19,100 and 19,000 for the Nifty, and resistance is at 19,300. So that's how the structure is for the moment. The trading range has shifted upwards, and any buy on dip that you get should be taken with open hands. Tanya.
Okay, absolutely, Shell. And I think buy on dip strategy that has worked so far. But let's talk about Bank Nifty as well. The trend there is also positive, and the index is trading at a 2-week high. And SBI posted stellar quarterly numbers. In fact, Bank of Baroda also reported strong growth in its profit. So, what are you looking on Nifty Bank today, and what are the fresh support and resistance levels?
So, Tanya, the two things that are working in the favor of Nifty will definitely work in the favor of Bank Nifty as well, simply because both of them, Bank of Baroda and State Bank of India, are prime, how should I say, contributors to whatever upsurge that we've seen in the Bank Nifty as far as the PSU banking basket is concerned. So these two stocks will be in strength, and if you see what was Friday's move on the Bank Nifty, you've seen Bank of Baroda, PNB and State Bank of India are the top gaining banking counters so far in the month of November as far as FNO is concerned. SBI up 5.7%, PNB up 7%, Bank of Baroda up 7.1%. So these are the trends that are likely to help the Bank Nifty. Of course, you rightly mentioned 2-week high. The last time we've seen this price on the Bank Nifty, which is 43,310, 320, was last seen on October 12th. At the moment, the issue is that the Bank Nifty is deep into 200 DMA, which is acting as a very, very strong resistance. Let's see if that is a gap up, and then we'll see how the trend moves from there on. But both indices are seen positive for Monday, at least in the first 1 hour of trade. Tanya.
Okay, absolutely, got that. So these are the levels, keep an eye on that. And let's talk about FNM space as well, Shell. Lots happening there as well. So what are you looking at in the future and option space today?
So, Tanya, one stock that in the NBFC space, which is high beta and low ticket sizes, L&T Financial Holdings. At the moment, it's in a super bullish phase, about 140 rupees 85 paisa on the cash markets. This was a level last seen in April 2019. So at the moment, it's a 4.5 year high as far as the individual cash stock is concerned, and very, very strong volumes coming in on Friday, somewhere like 2 crore 50 lakh shares that were traded. This was accompanied by very strong statistics as far as the options trade is concerned, a very high increase in open interest by about 7%, and the delivery statistics are 3.2x higher on Friday compared with Thursday. So this is the lone stock that I'm looking at in the FNO space. Very, very strong traction coming in on the long side. Any dip on L&T Financial Holdings should be an opportunity to get back into the counter. Remember, the all-time high for the counter is somewhere like 198 although that's too far away. But for the moment, if you see the monthly charts, a lot of strong traction coming in on the long side for L&T Financial Holdings. Tanya.
Okay, absolutely got that. And let's discuss global markets as well because we are getting positive cues from there as well. But let's do one thing, Shell. Let's welcome Devarsh Vakil, our market guest on the show today. He's with us right now. He's the head of retail research at HDFC Securities. Very good morning, Mr. Vakil, and thank you so much for taking the time out and joining us here on Business Today Television. So we were talking about Indian markets and how buy on dip strategy that has worked so far, and the bounce has been stronger than the correction if you see. But how are you feeling, about the markets at this point in time, and what should be the strategy? Mr. Vakil, can you hear us? Okay, we'll get back to him. I think he's not able to hear us. But coming back to the global market shell, I was saying that we are getting positive cues from the global markets as well. And the Dow ended the week at 34,061 odd level, up around 5%. And S&P and Nasdaq also, they were up, if you see, 1% each at 39,478 and 4,358 odd level on Friday. And US 10-year yield and crude futures, they are also muted at this point in time. Oil prices have been settled more than 2% lower on the last trading day of the last week. So, what is now essential to track from these overseas cues?
Tanya, like we mentioned in our earlier commentary, that everything that was positive as far as global equity is concerned seems to be in place. When you look at the Dow Jones Index, it gained about 3.5% last week. The S&P 500 was up 4.6%. The Nasdaq surged 5.3%, and the 10-year yield dropped for 4 days in a row, down about zero point 0.5 basis points. So all these are very, very good, how should I say, mood enhancers for Dalal Street, and they are working well in tandem with each other. The other part is that crude oil is very quiet now, back to 200 DMA, and that is something that Indian bulls will appreciate a lot, as also gold is now muted. So the safe haven buying that we saw on gold seems to have been absorbed. Crude oil is off the boil. We have 10-year bond yield, which is down based primarily on US non-farm payrolls, which were below expectations. So it's all, how should I say, back to a Goldilocks kind of a scenario as far as markets are concerned. Let's do a sound check again with Mr. Vakil if he's with us. Sir, good morning. Can you hear us?
I can hear you loud and clear. Thank you.
You can hear us.
Good morning, and welcome to you, Mr. Vakil. A very fine morning as far as sentiment is concerned on Dalal Street. How do you look at the market? And this being Diwali week, could you share with us one or two long-term prospects which would outshine the broader markets over the next 1 year or so, sir?
Right. So, good morning and season's greetings to all the viewers and you. We feel that the markets are headed higher. The message from the market is that Fed is done. That means the environment which was there, where interest rates were being hiked to conquer the inflation dragon, it is now over. Interest rates are going to remain stable, and eventually it is a matter of conjecture where it will come down, but eventually it will come down. It should not go higher from here unless some geopolitical flare-up happens, which chances are reducing day by day. So in that environment, companies, the fundamentally strong companies where earnings growth are going to be stronger, the management quality is good, and where we feel that the valuations are attractive, those stocks are headed much higher. So that is the message from this Diwali to next Diwali, that we have to be selective, but money is to be made in the markets. The US jobs data, which came for the October, only 1.5 lakh jobs. That is a clear sign of cooling, and that will keep a hold on the interest rates for now. So in order to profit from the markets, we need to identify ideas or the stocks which are likely to do well this Diwali and also continue to do well for longer period as well. So one sector where we are quite bullish is the gas transmission sector. We know that the amongst the all the fuel sources, gas is the cleanest of all. And because of the some regulatory environment, stocks have also come down and they are really available at the attractive valuation. So there, the largest player is the GAIL. GAIL is the largest natural gas transmission and distribution company into India. 11,500 kilometers of natural gas pipeline, about 2,300 kilometers of LPG pipeline, a lot of LPG processing units, and also huge investments into petrochemical, around 40,000 crore of investments are going to go into petrochemical. All this will lead to quite a good earnings growth. So we feel that the GAIL has a leverage its position to extend its presence in all the power related LNG, regasification, CHD, all these areas with the joint ventures. So here we are recommending investors to accumulate between the 106 and 120 range. We are not recommending it to buy at a one go, but gradually accumulate. And we expect this gas transmission sector to do well, quite well over the next couple of years, starting with this Diwali.
Okay, so gas authority is one of the counters that Mr. Vakil is recommending on the long side. Remember, the counter is trading somewhere near its November 18 highs, and that's how the structure is. It's a very high beta kind of a counter, and of course a high dividend yield over time. So another thread from the PSU basket is getting how should I say discussed as far as long-term picks are concerned. Mr. Vakil, what would be a nice 1 year target that HDFC Securities has put on Gas Authority of India?
So we have put a target of 140. So we ask investors to accumulate between 106 and 120 gradually over the next couple of months and keep a target of 140 for till next Diwali.
Okay, and any other stock that catches your fancy?
So one more sector in the theme of PSUs, there is a Gujarat-based PSU, Gujarat Alkalis and Chemical, GACL. That is also one of the picks from our side in this Diwali. It is the second largest soda ash and caustic soda player. Domestic caustic chlorine industry, they have about 15%, 20% market share. Apart from this business, where they have commissioned a new plant, 800 MTPD plant with Nalco, which is yielding results, and also they have done a good organic expansion at the Dahej plant, about 525. So these two expansions are going to yield a lot of cash flows to the company. Apart from the business, they also own a lot of stake in other PSUs, Gujarat-based PSUs, like they own about 15% in Gujarat Industrial Power. They have about 3% stake in Gujarat Gas, about 2% in GSFC. So cumulatively, and other non-quoted, unquoted investments, all in all, about 1,500 crore of investments they have, which can be liquidated over a period of time. So, and what we have seen is that global caustic soda prices have actually gone up 30% in last 2 months. They are still lower than what peak they achieved in 2022. They are still 40% lower. So there is some room. We have been facing problems from dumping from China and other areas, but that gradually, as prices move up, will come down and this company can achieve a good earnings growth. So we have recommended investors to accumulate this between 638 and 718 gradually over the next couple of weeks. Our target for Gujarat Alkalis is rupees 875 till next Diwali. So one more PSU stock, Gujarat Alkali, is also one of our Diwali picks this year.
Okay, absolutely got that. Keep an eye on these stocks. And good morning, Mr. Vakil. Let's discuss SBI as well because this stock will be in focus because of its stellar quarterly earnings. And if you see, we have seen a sharp drop in provisions for bad loans, and the asset quality has also improved. So, what are your thoughts on SBI?
We have been quite bullish on the PSU banks for last 2 years. There is still room for re-rating in this PSU banks for still some steam is left. The numbers, efficiency ratios have improved drastically. So it was a number. So we have been quite bullish. The number is slightly below our expectation, but nevertheless stock will adjust to these new numbers, and these numbers are on its own, it's fantastic. We feel that the company has potential to go to maintain this 3.1, 3.2% kind of NIMs, about $11,042 billion of rupees of PPOP is our analyst target, and about 635 billion is the rupees is the FY25 profit target. So we have about 440 as a book value target estimate for the FY25. Based on that, our analysts feel that the stock can head to 790. So we have come out with a note and a SOTP target of 790. So around 580 or so it is trading. So there is still further room. Investors can accumulate these PSU stocks. In fact, I expect stock to open much higher and do quite well based on these results. So we continue to like large one or two first PSU banks. There is still room for appreciation.
Okay, absolutely got that, Mr. Vakil. And let's discuss Nika also. So, Shell, I was at Nika Land this weekend, and it was India's biggest, beauty festival. I even met Anchit Nair of Nika Beauty, and he was so bullish on Nika Beauty growth going forward and outlook for FY24. But we have results today, Mr. Vakil. So, what are your thoughts, and what should be the strategy ahead of the second quarter numbers?
So, BPC momentum, as you said, it is key to success, but we are more of a value investors. And here, the valuation and our DCP targets, DCF targets are much, much lower than the market expectation market prices. So, we have our analyst has kept a reduced rating on the company, and we continue to have that as of last quarter. After today's result, as you have mentioned, maybe we'll again review it. But in platform companies, obviously some of the platform companies are turning around and are showing growth, and there we have some positive views. But for FSN e-commerce, that is Nika, we still have a reduced rating.
And this is one stock, Tanya, that has not reacted to any kind of bullish enthusiasm that is there in the market. I'm sure you have a better idea on how the products are. But as far as the stock is concerned, I think there has been a series of very strong disappointments coming in from the investing community as far as the management is concerned. Let's see how it goes. But for the moment, the charts are quiet, and so is Mr. Vakil. But let's take his view on the auto space, which is one of the outperformers that we've seen over the last quarter or so. Mr. Vakil, a very strong performance coming in from Bajaj Auto. The stock is also on a roll. Your view on this two-wheeler stock and, of course, Tata Motors?
So we have a positive view. See, as we are bullish on the economic cycle, and these are the sectors which are actually performing quite well, and they had valuation which was quite attractive. So we had positive views on these companies. The recent stock prices have actually performed quite nicely. It has beyond the prices has beyond gone beyond our target prices. So once we do not keep it open, our analysts have now come out that it is better to wait for correction in the prices on personal vehicle side compared to commercial vehicle. In the four-wheeler side, we are actually bullish on the personal vehicle side. That's where we see that the margin expansion is possible, and that was evident in the Maruti's numbers also. So I would prefer that Tata Motors on the international business revival, on Maruti on local personal vehicle demands. Compared to two-wheeler, we are more bullish on four-wheelers this time. And we have to remember that we are still a agri-led economy, and the monsoons have been patchy. So the rural demand is not likely to be that strong this year, and that may affect the demand for two-wheelers going ahead. So we are a little cautious on that side compared to four-wheelers. So Bajaj Auto, we have a reduced rating right now.
Fair point. We are just tightening our belts as far as the pre-open trades are concerned. Remember, the Nifty is giving a GIFT Nifty is giving an opening sign of about 130 points higher, 0.7%, and that is how it was supposed to be. But the first ticks on the Nifty are slightly on the painful side. We let them settle down and then again come back to the Nifty in particular. Of course, now opening or quoting 21 points higher at about 19,250. Let's look at individual stocks, and my first port of call will be State Bank of India. It's about at 580.25, opening 0.3% higher. This is most likely to improve. L&T is the top player, 2% higher, 29.75 within the index heavyweights. Let's look at the most immediate ones. HDFC Bank flat about 1483.75. Reliance is flat about 23.19. And what about Infosys? 1385 down 0.3%. The Nifty is slowly improving itself. 58 points higher, 19,288. Let's see how other stocks are stated. Tata Motors is up 1.6% at about 656.80. The corporate banks ICICI and Axis Bank are in opposite directions. ICICI in the green, 941, 0.7% higher. Axis Bank minus 0.6% lower, 982. Let's shift focus to the F&O space and see how markets are performing apart from the index heavyweights. Amongst the top gainers is Birla Soft, 596, 1.5% higher. A very strong commentary coming on Friday from the management that joined us on market today. We have IRCTC 1.7% higher, 165. Remember, I'm talking only about high beta. RECL 1% higher, 307. We have Petronet LNG 1.3% higher, 198.60. These are some of the stocks that are ticking on the green side. The Nifty is now 54 points higher, 19,286. Amongst the losers are Havells down 0.5%, 1265. ITC down 0.3%, 432. We have Colgate Palmolive slipping a bit, 2102. This is again at a record high, shouldn't be much worried. Let's look at the NFT 500 space. What are the top gainers here? We have Galaxy Surfactants up 20%, 3416. Motherson Sumi, this is the wire company, 7% higher, 6240. We have Suzlon 5% higher, 3595. And we have Bank of India 3% higher, 102. The Nifty improving further, 62 points higher, 19,272. The State Bank of India is now up 1%, 584.30. And I'd also like to see what Bank of Baroda is doing. Bank of Baroda is flat at about 204. This is how the markets have opened so far in pre-open trades. Let's look at how they settle down. Coming back to you, Mr. Vakil, markets fairly strong on Monday morning. Any other sector that you prefer apart from the PSUs that you've talked about so extensively on the long side? What else looks good to you in this season on the Lal Street?
So, apart from this, we have issued some picks in cement space or a conglomerate like Grasim. We like Indian Oil Corporation, Dr. Reddy's. So these are some of the Diwali picks which I am rattling off. Reliance Industries is also one of the large caps where we are bullish. Small finance banks like Equitas Small Finance Bank is also part of our 10 stocks where we have recommended as a one of the Diwali picks. So, Shail, what I would like to share is that the opportunity for India is still there, though internationally the geopolitical situation and the economic situation of the Western world is not that bullish, but here we are seeing a consumption boom. The uh, availability of the capital to this country is improving day by day. We had seen it in private equities last few years. Now we are going to see it on the debt side. As you know that from June 24, the JP Morgan is going to add India into Indian government securities into their bond indices. That will be a seminal event. I think from there, we will keep getting a regular flow of money into India. So we have to, as a long-term investors, we have to navigate from here, uh, three, four state elections, couple of geopolitical events like we have elections in Taiwan, and then our central election. I think if we can negotiate this period well, and if we can conserve our capital and deploy it in a way that it is likely to bear a lot of fruits post June of 24. So my message to investors are that from here, this Diwali till May, June of 24, try to be conservative, but deploy it in the stocks, gradually accumulate, which you like. Then, if the political outcome is as per market's expectation by 24 June, then we are going to see a bigger rally. A lot of foreign capital which is waiting to enter into India will come, and that will lead to a one more leg of a large rally from 24 onwards, June 24 onwards. So it is time to accumulate good stocks from next couple of months. Incidentally, November and December is supposed to be the best month for Nasdaq. If you see the history of last 20, 30 years, November and December gives the maximum return to investors. So the problems which we were facing from foreign markets, if seasonality is of any Q, we are likely to see better Qs coming in from global markets also. So that will help our Indian market as well. So we were at 18,500 in October 21. Almost 2 years have passed and we have hardly moved any bit. So it seems that the possibility of a market moving higher and to a new all-time highs is possible. And from June, I expect markets to do quite well.
Now let's welcome Brijesh Ale as well. He's the head of technical and derivatives at IDBI Capital Markets and Securities. Good morning, Mr. Ale, and always good to have you on BTTV. How are you positioned on Nifty, and any top technical picks that you would like to share with us?
Yeah, hi, morning. Definitely the view for the Nifty is positive. I think we are going to see a positive view, positive trend for the entire week. The reason is because the 19,100 level, which has the Nifty has taken support. And for the day specific, I think we are going to see some move towards 19,350, 19,400. I think the market is already opening a gap up trade. So in the money call option at 19,300 should be the view. So I think that will hold for the day. It's a positive view. Friday, we saw that Apollo Hospital was one counter where we saw a very good breakout. So I think any slight correction also, I think we should see a buying opportunity in the Apollo Hospital. 52.50 would be the trading bet for the Apollo Hospital.
Chaliye. The Nifty is now, ladies and gentlemen, showing a gap up of at least 100 points, 115 to be precise, 19,345. This is how it is settled in pre-open trade. We have a 300-point uptick on 43,627 on Bank Nifty. Remember, it's the rub-off of the India-Sri Lanka match that was played on Eden Gardens. A lot of that bullishness getting reflected on domestic stock prices, and we are opening in fine shape. Tanya, what is really interesting is if you look at how we had suggested buying into ETFs in the Nifty when it was at about 18,800, that is the kind of move that will happen now in terms of those people reaping sudden gains coming in. So that trade remains in place. Coming to Brijesh, your views on State Bank of India post the stellar set of earnings that has come in. At the moment, SBI is settled 0.84% higher, 583. What are the medium-term charts telling you, Brijesh?
Morning, sir. I think the SBI, the charts are quite very strong positive. we the immediate resistance is 610 level. So I won't be surprised if in next couple of days we see SBI heading toward the 600 level. So quite a big on the higher side, but definitely I think we should be heading on those level. We have another 3 weeks of expiry, so I'm most probably somebody wants to take a long position at 575 call option also should take that bet because I believe this move should go somewhere close to 600 mark. So extremely positive for the SBI.
Okay, let's look at how other pre-open trades have settled in the top basket. As far as index heavyweights are concerned, well, the top gainer is L&T, up 1%, Tata Motors up 1%, State Bank of India up 0.84%, and we have the opening at least gap up on the Nifty, which is at 19,345. That means, ladies and gentlemen, the first three resistances, it's actually opened above R3 of intraday trade 19,332. So there are two situations that might happen: a gap up and then a flat trade till 330, or the index will try and fill this gap. Let's see how it happens, but the first 15 minutes are crucial. The low of the first 15-minute candle is what will be observed as far as bears are concerned. If that is taken out, then of course this gap is most likely to be filled to some extent or not. But at 19,345, I think what will be interesting is to see what is the high. Of course, it's the highest since in the November expiry, but this is also the highest as far as 23rd of October is concerned. So 7 plus 7, a 3-week high is what we are looking as far as Nifty is concerned in the opening trades. Let's also shift focus and look at how FNO stocks are doing. To you, Brijesh, what would you prefer as far as charts are concerned in the pre-open space, in the FNO space?
Yeah, so my bet was on the DLF. We are watching the charts of the DLF on the last Friday. I think this momentum will continue. Even if I look at the option data, I think there's a good amount of call writing which was there at 600 price is getting unwinded. So I think DLF will be the one bet to buy at the pre-market at current price. 620 is the target for the expiry this thing. So DLF would be the one long bet.
Okay, absolutely, got that. And coming to you, Mr. Vakil, since Brijesh mentioned DLF only, so we have seen this real estate pack coming into action, and the stocks have been performing really well from the past few months. So, what are your thoughts on real estate pack and any stocks that you like from the space, especially at these levels?
Yeah, so we continue to like real estate space. Our analysts have come out with the bullish recommendations on many of the real estate stocks, much lower levels. The numbers which came in were much better. I think 22 billion rupees of recorded pre-sales, and they have reiterated that guidance that 120 to 130 billion rupees of pre-sales, backed by about 11.2 million MSF of launches. So they have a potential to sell about 200 billion rupees of inventory, and the demand which we are seeing on the higher segment, the luxury segment, is unprecedented. I think DLF can go to about 650 over next couple of the weeks or so. So our analysts have bullish recommendation on that. Apart from the players like Prestige and Oberoi and DLF, our analysts are also quite bullish on the construction sector, especially the road construction sector, the infrastructure where we personally feel that the opportunity in this election year for getting large orders and getting those execution done is much higher. So from here to central elections, we are going to see a lot of orders coming on their way, a lot of commissioning, which will start the revenue. So real estate and construction players, we are also bullish apart from the PSU banks, which we discussed.
Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, tighten your seat belts. We are in the last week of Diwali celebrations, and the Nifty is showing a gap up of 115 points, 19,345. The opening trades will soon be with us. The stock to watch would be State Bank of India. After a stellar set of numbers, profit rose 8% on a quarterly basis year on year to about 14,330 crores. That is something that will spark the bullish sentiment further on both Nifty and the Bank Nifty. Let's see how it goes. As also HBL Par, as also Bank of Baroda. These are strong numbers coming in. Okay, the first opening quote is 101 points higher as far as the Nifty is concerned, 19,332. The Bank Nifty is opened 281 points higher, 43,579. The IT and the Nifty 500 index are also in the green. First of all, State Bank of India. Let's see what the market is giving it as a reward. It's up about 0.5%, 1% at about 583. These are initial ticks on State Bank of India. 580, 185, 0.6% higher. This is a slight disappointment. HDFC Bank 0.6% higher, 1492. Let's look at Reliance. Reliance at the moment is quoting 0.3% higher, 2328, and HDFC Bank. Remember, these are the three index heavyweights. 1492 up 0.5%. The Nifty now 100 points higher, 19333. A bit of profit booking happening from all those people who had carried forward calls of 19200, 19100 as far as short covering is concerned. So those calls are now getting vacated, and that's why you see a bit of a profit booking happening in the first 1 or 2 minutes of trade. At the moment, the support is at 19304. Let's see if that is tested or not. Let's shift focus immediately to FNO. What is gaining? Hindalco 1.3% higher, 481.60. India Cement 213, 2.5% higher. Idea Cellular 1% higher, 1390. Delta Corp 1.4% higher, 142.35. Let's shift focus to NSE 500. I want to see what Zomato is doing. 3.5% higher, 121.30. This is running away after sterling set of numbers. You have Suzlon 5% higher, 35.95. These are the stocks in initial trades. Let's look at the PSU basket, the one that is supposed to show a lot of enthusiasm. Bank of India 2.2% higher, 101.25. Maharashtra Bank 1% higher, 43.10. MMTC 1.4% higher, 54.30. These are how the gains are coming in. Let's look at thematic stocks. What are the top gainers here? A company called Olectra 5% higher at about 1207, now 2.5% higher. We have IRFC 1.5% higher, 73.25. What are the stocks at all-time high? As far as the Nifty 500 is concerned, Kalyan Jewellers 312, Birla Soft 590, and we have Persistent at 62.90. These are the stocks that are trading at the moment in the green. Profit booking continues marginally on the Nifty. Brijesh, coming to you first. 19,300 call on the long side. What would be your view on this one? Let me just get you the weekly price, but your view on the Nifty opening.
I think so. Nifty has opened with a gap up. This gap is going to sustain, is what I believe. Definitely, we need to wait for some 10-15 minutes more, but I would like to take a bet on the Nifty 19,300 call option. There's a long built up which is seen at current price. It would be better we take in the money. This 102 is a strike, is what I can see right now. One should take that bet. I would bet for more 100 points on the higher side, maybe during the end of the day. I think charts are extremely positive. We should be trading a long positions in the current market.
Okay, there's a spark on Zomato. 1 crore shares have been traded at the current price in a single block deal. And Tanya, what's interesting, you remember you had caught CDSL. 1591 in front of you. Very, very strong move coming in. Petronet is in the green, 198.70. Lots of moves coming in on Policy Bazaar, 733.65. A nice block deal of 16,570 shares. Karur Vyasa Bank, National Aluminium, all in the green. So a fairly strong move in the initial trades. Let's look at the wider markets as of now. The advanced decline ratio firmly in favor of bulls, 1600 stocks in the green and just 300 in the red as far as the National Stock Exchange is concerned. In Nifty, Tanya, 49 out of 50 stocks are in the green. I would imagine that you will have a flat day from now on. It can't get better than this. Let's look at the advanced decline ratio in NSE 500. 431 shares in the green, 65 in the red. Tanya, what else are you watching?
I think, Shail, you mentioned Zomato, and the stock is actually on a roll, and this is on the back of the second quarter numbers. So I want to discuss it first with Mr. Vakil. Mr. Vakil, if we look at the numbers, the company reported a net profit of 36 odd crore rupees for the September quarter, and this is against a net loss of 251 odd crore rupees during the same quarter last year. And sequential basis, also, if you see, the revenue is up 18%, and the company's food delivery GOV is recovering as well from the demand slowdown. That is what the company said. So, what are your thoughts on Zomato? Because if you see in November 2021, Zomato was trading at around 150 odd levels. So, do you think these levels can come back after the stellar set of second quarter numbers?
So, as you mentioned, the company has become EBITDA positive. There are some long-term questions which we would like them to answer before the company we will recommend. So, mostly we are conservative in our recommendation. So, this quick commerce business which they have, whether that will become quite profitable or not, the hyper pure business, can it continue to scale? So these are the business right now, seasonally, and because of the World Cup, the GOV is rising and festive season is there, coupled with this ICC World Cup. So they are likely to do quite well. We like to see whether this kind of business sustains to justify the rich valuations which they are getting. So there was a trade. We had our technical team had spotted this and they have benefit out of it. For longer term investors, for value investors, we will see the numbers couple of quarters down the road and then we'll review it. We do like platform companies, but there are others which you mentioned where we feel more valuation comforts, like the non-lending financial side, the exchanges, the depositories, the businesses which are there playing on the financialization of savings theme. There are a lot of players which we continue to like. So this software platform business is interesting, but we like to be little less adventurous and be with the companies where there are more solid profitabilities are there.
Okay, absolutely got that. That's the
Okay,
advice
Tanya, we'll
coming
just
in.
pay attention to the Nifty 300 call. Tanya, just a moment, please. Just a moment, please. 19300 call that we had discussed at 103 rupees is now at 117. So that was a great pick, Brijesh. You caught it right at probably the intraday low of that particular option trade. This is something that needs to be looked at. Given the strength that we are now seeing on the Nifty, 19350 in front of you, now 118 points higher. Let's look at the stocks that are contributing to that up move. It's Axis Bank. Tanya, Axis Bank is now back in 4 digits, and that has come just a second after about 2 weeks, 3 weeks. That we've seen this price coming back in. So the 19300 Nifty call on a weekly basis, which is expiring on November 9th, is showing a lot of traction. We caught it at about 103 rupees for you. And the Nifty now is at the day's high, 19,353. Initial profit booking that you saw on all those calls that were carried forward, plus a very, very strong bout of short covering is happening across the board. So 19250 calls, you have a short covering of 7.72 lakh, 19200 1.78 lakhs worth of short covering, and the PE minus CE change, which is the most critical part of options trading, is positive for bulls, about 49 lakhs. Tanya, over to you.
Absolutely. Just wanted to discuss Zomato again with Brijesh. Brijesh, what should be the right buy zone for Zomato? Because right now, if you see, the stock is in the green and it is actually on a roll after the stellar quarter two numbers. So, what would be your suggestion?
No, definitely the that is the Zomato is the flavor of the market. It's showing
Hmm.
strength. Risk reward ratio would be favorable whenever it comes close to 100 level. So I think if I need to take a long call, 100 would be the safest bet as of now with the current scenario. The momentum looks positive towards 140, 150 on the higher side. So anytime, any near coming days, whenever it corrects back to 100, I think there can be one small trade setup which we can talk of at least from the percentage point of view. It would be easily 40-50% from those levels. So close to 100, I think one should look for a buying opportunity in the Zomato. Because I feel 140, 145 can be on charts.
Policy Bazaar is also the top gainer from the mid cap space, Brijesh. And the company reported net loss of 21 odd crores in the September quarter. Revenue is up around 22% to 812 odd crore rupees. Uh, what would be your take here?
Yeah, so eventually, a couple of days before there was a correction. Now, slightly, maybe post result, the stock is picking up, but this range of 100 and 750 is a multiple supply zone, it's a resistance zone. So
Hmm.
I think maybe a trading bet can be there, but I am not taking any positional view as of now. There is definitely a trading option, trading bet for 750, 760 level on the higher side.
Okay, absolutely got that. And shipping corporation is also in focus. I think the let's pull up this stock and see what this stock is doing in today's trading session. So the company reported net profit of 65 odd crore rupees in the September quarter, and Street is clearly not liking the numbers coming in from the company. Revenue, if you see, it came in at around 114 odd crore. How do you look at the numbers, Brijesh, and what should be the strategy for shipping corporation?
I think there's a gap down opening, and if I look at the weekly and monthly time frame, I think there is a distribution in the shipping, not much of a positive momentum. I'm not very sure how much correction can be seen, but definitely it needs to be avoided at the current price. There's a chance it might come close to 120, level. It's not a clear cut trading bet. So I will wait for this correction to happen, and if then there is some kind of volumes getting picked up at those levels, then probably I may take it. But right now it's avoid, and I see some further 10-15 points of correction in the counter.
Okay, another stock that I'd like to highlight from the FNO space is Aarti Industries at about 493.50. This is the top gainer as far as the percentage rise is concerned. A fairly sharp breakout happening, but it's mostly done. I just wanted to mark the price on the screen. That's how it is. And at the moment, you see the market's pausing a bit. We've at 928. The first 10-15 minutes of the chart would be critical, but it's the banks. Banks are doing phenomenally well when it comes to the private sector space. And let me just share some pricing action for you as far as ICICI Bank and Axis Bank are concerned. Both of them helping the Nifty as well as the Bank Nifty. ICICI Bank at the moment is trading at least a percent higher, 943. Remember, this is the leftover momentum that you saw on Friday. Very strong move coming in on intraday charts. Axis Bank, like I had mentioned, reclaiming its 4-digit mark, 1.2% higher, and fairly strong moves you are seeing as far as volume buzzers are concerned within the Nifty 500. It's none of the stocks that you would like to track. Okay, Aarti Industries, we've just discussed 2.5 times volume, up 6.5%. As far as volumes are concerned, Tanya's favorite counter for the moment is Zomato. almost 4 crore shares are traded. And Tanya, it's just the first 15 less than 15 minutes of trade. Already 50% of 5-day average volume has been taken out. So a very strong move that we are tracking there. Bank of Baroda is now down 2.5%, 198.20. That's a bit of a disappointment, but that's how it is. These are prices that one must appreciate. How the markets are looking at 52-week highs. We have large stocks. We've discussed so many of them. I would imagine Birla Soft and CDSL are the ones that you need to look at. These are the ones that we have been discussing all of last week, and the momentum there continues unabated. Tanya, what are you looking at?
Uh, I think Shell, it's gonna be, new age tech companies day to day. If you see, Nykaa is also among the gainers from the mid cap space. And coming to you, Brijesh, for Nykaa, we have results today. And if you look at the price action at this point in time, the stock is trading 3% higher at 144 odd level. So, what would be your advice, and what should be the right buy zone for this particular counter?
Hanya, the buying maybe can be done at the current level, but then it's a more of a range bound. 150, 155 is the highest at resistance zone. I'm not very sure whether this level will taken out. Somebody wants to play it till 155 levels, can take a buy at the current price. The previous day low, which is at 140, should be stop loss for this particular trade. I think it's just a trading back for 155 levels. So right now it looks positive. After a decline, the stock is picking up the momentum, maybe only because of the result which is lined up. Again, a trading bet for the counter. Maximum upside would be 155 is what I believe. That is going to act as a resistance.
Okay, absolutely got that. And let's pull up Tata Consumer as well. Okay, Tata Consumer is trading at 922 odd level, 1% uptick there. What should be the strategy for this particular counter, Brijesh?
Yeah, so it's already in an uptrend. The stock is continuously moving for the last 7 trading sessions. The stock is moving up. So we have a target of 945 on the higher side. So this continuation of the momentum will be there. It's again a trading bet. So close to 945, 950, there is a little bit of call writing is there. So that might act as a resistance. Supply might be seen at 945, 950. So somebody's having a position, hold the position towards 945. That should be the probable immediate upside for the counter. And after that, there is a fair chance that there can be some profit booking on the counter.
The stock has been actually on an uptrend after the second quarter's number, good set of numbers coming in from Tata Consumers. Okay. And apart from that, Brijesh, any picks that you would like to share from the mid cap and small cap space? Because we have seen, the broader markets, they have outperformed the large, caps as well. So, any picks that you would like to share from the mid cap and small cap space?
Actually, I was ready with the FO stocks. So is it okay if I share that idea?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so actually, I was looking at the Hero Motoco's chart. I think the stock is at the verge of giving a range breakout on the higher side. This can be one of the positive stock for the day. I see 3200 being tested during this week, so I'm expecting a range breakout on the higher side. And then one more stock which I was watching was Indigo. So I think Indigo is one stock which will see a good amount of breakout on the higher side. So I think during the day, there's a high probability that today's day's high will be taken out. 2650, 2680 is the higher side target for the Indigo in next 2 to 3 days. So I think that is one more bet. After that, Container Corporation is one stock which has come to my in my parameter. Even though the stock is moving for the last 3 4 days, I think the momentum is very strong in this counter. 750 plus should what we should be seeing in the Container Corp. And lastly, I think what Sir said, RT industry. I think RT is given a very good trade setup. It's a volume breakout kind of structure. I think another 8 10% kind of move is there in RT industry. So I think one should go along with this particular stock.
Indigo, by the way, Shell has reported a profit of 188 odd crore rupees, and that is from a loss of 1,583 odd crore rupees in the same quarter last year. So, good set of numbers coming in from Indigo. But anything that catches your fancy, Shell?
Yeah, Tanya, I'm looking at so many stocks that everything is catching my fancy. I would look at Trent. The problem with Trent is that the ticket size is too large. 2220. I think this is a record high, yes. But what can you do? The prices are set by the market. But these are huge momentum stocks that are doing phenomenally well in the markets. And I completely concur with Brijesh on at least this one, Indigo. Full flights, because I travel so much and I mostly take this particular airline. This one is showing very, very strong traction on the charts. For the moment, we've seen about 3 lakh shares being traded, and this is just the first 20 minutes of trade. The other exciting thing, Tanya, is that the Nifty seems to be moving now sideways. We have the first 15 minutes of trade in front of us. I'm talking about cash. So what is the what is the low of today in the first 15 minutes? The low is 19,309. That will be watched very, very closely by the bulls. This is also the call strike for 19,300. Remember, this is the call that we are discussing. We caught it at about 103 rupees. At the moment, this one is trading at 117.14. So this is what we are watching, and of course there are blowouts happening. Aisha Motors is looking good, 34.96. Lemon Tree is at 112.30. Remember, these are all very high beta counters that are moving substantially higher. Amongst the volume buzzers, Aarti Industries is what Brijesh has pointed out, although it's up 6.5%, but very, very strong volume coming in. 26 lakh shares traded, which are 3.2 times the 5-day average. So this is accompanied by a surge in volume. That's how the markets are at the moment. Nykaa is 3.5% higher, 145.50. I won't even touch it with a barge pole. That is how stocks are moving. Zomato is up 3%, 120, and of course a lot of moves coming in on PB Infotech as well. Tanya.
Absolutely, and I want to see what Vedanta is doing because Vedanta slipped into red in the second quarter, and okay, it's now trading on a flattish note at 230 odd level, and the company reported a consolidated net loss of 1,783 odd crore rupees. What are your thoughts on Vedanta, Brijesh?
Uh, I think I'm not very confident on the positional effect, even though it has taken support at the lower levels. I think whenever there is a bounce up to 42, 45 level, there would be the supply, what I can see, and the value of the 200-day moving average is coming at 255 levels. Not pretty, the volumes are missing, so I'm not very confident whether one should play this move. Somebody's having a position, the stock coming close to 245, 250, have a cautious view. Review the position and closer to 251 if somebody wants to take an exit. Me personally, if I need to take a call, then I would take an exit on a bounce.
And what's happening with Suzlon, Brijesh? The stock is actually trading at 10-year high, and is there more upside for this particular counter?
I am not very sure. If I look at the monthly charts, the levels of 40 is the again the some moving average levels, which I think can see some resistance. Not too much on the counter. Maybe till the levels of 40, I think it's very less from the current level. It's already at 35, 36. So more 5 points more can be there. Then I think one has to be a bit cautious.
Okay, absolutely got that.
Let's
And
look at
what are you
others.
looking at
Others.
in at Shell?
Tanya, I think two stocks are catching my attention. One of them is Angel One. On purpose, we will not take a technical view on this one, but a record high is what I want to mark. The reason is that it's extremely overstretched on technical charts, and it doesn't make sense to look at entering the stock. But if you have the delivery, just stay invested. The other stock that is doing fairly well is of course the ones that we've discussed a lot. Birla Soft 1.5% higher, and its compatriot which moves together. Brijesh, to you, Tata Elxsi 7812. What is it saying? It's a very high beta stock, but the price ticket is also extremely high, 7,812. Your view on Tata Elxsi?
Sir, I'm positive on Tata Elxsi. Today, for the very first time, it has given a reversal from the levels of 7735. And the way it is moving up, I think the slowly the monthly and the quarterly charts are turning positive. So structure is extremely positive. Volumes are picking up in today's session, and I think this momentum should go back to another 200, 250 points on the higher side. So it's a positive bet. 8,000 should be the short-term target for the counter. I think one should, if you somebody wants to take a trading bet, also can. I think one should take that position, take that call at the current price.
Okay, and one more stock I want to mark is Petronet LNG. I wish Mr. Vakil had stayed on with us. Remember, this is a stock which is trading at multi-month lows. This is the price when we last saw in October 2022. So at least a 1 year low based on disastrous earnings that had come in a couple of days ago. Brijesh, how do you see this level? Is it a time for long-term investors to come into the stock? The most recent high was 254, now at 199.
Not very much positive, sir, because from the technical point of view, if you see the last month candle, we say this as a engulfing bearish kind of a pattern, and the 50% body of this candle is somewhere near to 220 level. So till the time this candle doesn't stay above 220, even every bounce will be a exit, yeah, selling opportunity from the charts point of view, and the demand zone is somewhere close to 175, 170 levels. So there is a probability. Maybe the last month there was a big correction. This month can be a slightly pickup. There can be slightly breather kind of a candle, but then continuation of the downtrend is what I can see. So definitely positional bet I would be avoiding in this counter. Somewhere close to 175, 170. We need to recheck and take a view.
Okay, absolutely. And Brijesh, we have seen these defense and railway stocks. They have had a stellar rally. But any stocks that you like from these space? Because I'm talking about these levels because we have seen a stellar run up, whether it comes to defense stocks, railway stocks, and some of the counters have actually given multi-bagger returns in the past 6 months. So, any stocks that you would like to recommend, especially at these levels?
Defense, particularly our fundamental analysts are of the opinion that they are very expensive and it's overpriced. So I think maybe for the next couple of months, defense should be avoided. But railways is one sector definitely where again the recent correction should be viewed as a buying opportunity. RITES, IRCON, and RVNL are the three bets from our end, which we are recommending to the clients. Whenever there is a correction, RITES, IRCON, and RVNL. These are the three bets should be viewed for the long-term buying opportunity.
Okay, it's 9:43. We are waiting for the second 15-minute candle on the Nifty to settle down, and then we'll again take a look at the 19,300 call that we are watching. But for the moment, a couple of more stocks are ticking in the green. Tanya, we had Brijesh mentioning Indigo. Days high 2572. Aarti Industries is what he liked. Again, days high 493.50, up 7.5%. Two stocks that I'd like to mark are Schneider Electric and Elecon Engineering. Remember, these are all stocks that were doing fairly well, and they were now coming back into action. So Schneider is at about 335, and Elecon Engineering, one of the best wealth creators in a very, very long time, is now heading towards its all-time high of about 984. Coming to you, Brijesh, your first view on Elecon Engineering at about 937, and volume for today is already 306,000. It's exceeded Friday's volume.
Sir, the structure for the Helicon engineering is good. I think the stock is back in action and the momentum is there. From the technical perspective, there is a rounding kind of a structure which I can see, and that the target for that rounding is somewhere close to another 150 points from the current level. So not exact target on the high side, but definitely this momentum should play for another 100, 150 points on the upside. So having a position, anybody has a position should ride this momentum and look towards those levels. So I think it's a positive trade for the next couple of days.
And how about Schneider Electric, Schneider Infrastructure, 335?
335. So volumes are missing, so I'm not very sure how good it can be. But after the last month of correction, this month there is slight pickup. There's a slight gain in the counter. I would wait for 360 levels to be taken out. If 360 levels is the immediate resistance zone, so in the near term, if those levels are taken out and we see some good structure forming or some technical reasoning with volumes, then maybe we can review the counter. But then right now, I would avoid this particular stock.
Okay, absolutely got that. And let's see what Axis Bank is doing in today's trading session. Okay, so the stock is up 1.5%, 1003. That's the level where we are at this point in time. What do the technical charts suggest for Axis Bank, Brijesh?
Ma'am, charts are positive. I think this momentum should last towards 2020, 1030 level. So that's a trading bet for the Axis Bank. We are seeing a reversals. So within the banking space, Axis Bank and IndusInd Bank, these are the two banks which I believe should move with the Bank Nifty. Right now, the Bank Nifty 43,500 is the resistance zone. So for the last many couple of days, this 43,500 was acting a resistance. So by any chance, today the Bank Nifty moves above 43,500 and stays, we get a close above 43,500, then I think Axis and IndusInd would be the two stocks which would contribute to the rally. And Axis, I am pretty confident 1020, 1030 can be the short-term upside, maybe a trading upside for the counter from the current level.
Okay, I think we should pull up IOC as well. The stock is up 2.6% and trading at 98 odd level. And Brijesh, IOC is one of the companies that have received the top upgrades after the second quarter numbers, because if you see 50% of the companies have reported their numbers from an SC200, and IOC and BPCL, these companies have received top upgrades. So coming to you for IOC, what do the technical charts suggest for this counter? It's the top energy gainer also from the FNO space.
Yeah, so basically, currently the stock is up by 10% in the current month, in the first few days. And it has given a reversal in the monthly time frame. So this talks of 110, 115 on the upside. From the percentage term, it will be 10-15%. So I would ride the momentum. Any time during the week, if there is correction, or maybe at the current price also, I think it's a very good bet. One should bet for 110, 115 on the higher side. Time frame maybe 2 to 3 months. Yeah, maybe it will take little longer time, but then it is positive charts, and whatever the damage we saw in the last month, I think that is going to be held. The levels of 85 doesn't look to be broken that easily. So view is positive for the counter.
Okay, view is positive. That's the word coming in. And on that wonderful note, thank you so much, Brijesh, for taking the time out and being with us here on BTTV.
Thanks.
So with that, coming back to the market, Shail, and looks like it's going to be a good Monday for the Indian markets. Bulls are back in action.
Absolutely true, Tanya.
Okay. With that, now it's time for us to wrap up this edition of Market Today. And we just have to wait and watch and see how the action pans out for Indian markets going forward. But for that, you don't have to go anywhere. You just have to stay tuned to BTTV because lots more coming up for you. So stay tuned and many thanks for watching.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome. Elon, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
We feel very privileged. We're excited to have you. Right, so I'm going to start with some questions and then we're going to open it up. Let me get straight into it. So, Bill Gates said, "There is no one in our time who has done more to push the bounds of science innovation than you."
Well, it's kind of him to say.
Yeah, well, that's it. That's a nice thing to have anyone say about you. Nice coming from Bill Gates. But oddly enough, when it comes to AI, actually, for around a decade, you've almost been doing the opposite and saying, hang on, we need to think about what we're doing and what we're pushing here and what do we do to make this safe and actually maybe we shouldn't be pushing as fast or as hard as we are. Like, I mean, you've been doing it for a decade. Like, what was it that caused you to think about it that way and why do we need to be worried?
Yeah, I've been somewhat of a Cassandra for quite a while, where people would, I would tell people, like, we should really be concerned about